Hey guys, and welcome to another Let's Chat Aqua Live, and thank you for joining me today. I hope you guys are having a wonderful weekend or start of it, and you guys are doing some stuff with your aquarium and having fun with them. Anyways, thank you for joining me. Let me just prep up here and just get some stuff out, and of course, it's general Q&A. I've just been very lazy setting up a real live show, so we'll just do some questions and answers or whatever. So if you have any, pop them up on board. I know someone's been asking me about dry start method and doing it with just Echo Complete. We'll tackle that in a bit, but while we're here, sometimes I've been taking a break from all the videos and stuff because it's just so much. I've been really busy lately, and I just came back from Buffalo, New York, from a conference. So it's really pretty up there. So I really liked it. It was fun. Had a really cool time. If you guys aren't following me on Instagram, I actually post a little video of where I was staying. It was a really cool. It used to be a psychiatric hospital, and then they turned it into a hotel. And it was really trippy. It was like in one of those little ghost hunter adventures and stuff like that. But it's actually pretty trippy. Again, sometimes it's hard to keep up with the video schedule, especially when it gets busy. But I'm going to try to pump it and start it all up again. Getting a Sunday video and probably a weekday video on Wednesday. I'm going back down to 2 videos a week instead of 3 because that was crazy doing the third. But if you want to get your socks off in between those times, in between those videos, and keep talking about aquariums and stuff, check out our Facebook group. Go join up there. We talk about aquariums all the time there. Have a lot of discussion. We got questions or stuff like that. There's people that can help answer there, and I would answer it when I can. And and you can also follow me on Instagram because sometimes I do stuff on Instagram. I try to post as much as I can, but there's just so much stuff that you have to keep up with. It gets annoying after a while. But I think Instagram is going to be the other main thing that I will be posting stuff to. So make sure you check that out. I am about to go ahead and post the link to our Facebook group, which is right there. And my Instagram is, I believe, at the Waterbox Aqua on Instagram. So you can check that out too. And it's there, I think. I don't know. It's the Waterbox. You'll find it there. But shout out to everyone. I was talking to a lot of people before the stream even started because usually I sit here and just get everything prepped. Shout out to One Man Aquarius, Tampa Tom, Vi, Ryan, FaZe, Manash, Bose, Sphinx LOL. I know a lot of my regulars here. And I believe I saw Brittany pop in. Damien, hello, how you doing? Lumpy Dogs in the house. There's Brittany. Brittany, hello, welcome on to the chat. Sahi, Seven, Daryl, and anyway, so if you guys got questions, pop them up in the chat. We'll see if we get talking about anything. Could be about anything, guys. Jacob Malif, I think that's how you pronounce the name. Welcome, D. D's in the house today. Hopefully you got that tree taken care of. See, Tampa Tom says, I hear Corey likes to be in groups. They do need to be in groups of the same type, or can it be every kind of quarry? Usually the same type. I notice if I have 2 types of quarries in the tank, they usually stick together in their own groups. I've barely seen them like acting together unless they look alike. I've seen Sturbies and Julie Eyes kind of grouped together sometimes too. But I don't know. I'd usually just get like, at least 4 or 5 in a group each, usually. And I find that's usually more than enough. But yeah, like Brittany says, they won't school with separate types unless they're very similar. Because sometimes if they're similar, if they look alike, they will group together. I know it's like my autosyncluses like to group with my SAEs, the smaller SAEs. And I thought that was kind of trippy. Because sometimes when they group together and stuff, they're swimming together. It's hard to tell which is which. So, yeah. Welcome, Adrian. Welcome, Axel. Glad you guys joined us. Welcome, the nice hacks. Hello. Hope you guys doing good. Yeah, real life does get in the way. That is for sure. Hey, Caleb, glad you could make it today. So yeah, any questions, just ask them down below. Okay, so on to that dry start thing. Okay, someone starting with Echo Complete. He was asking me about how to mix the nutrients with the misting water in that case. In that case, you do want some kind of nutrients mixed in your misting water as well as the water that you're saturating the substrate with at the get-go. Because when you set up the substrate, you need to saturate it and then plant your plants. Okay, because you need that kind of that moisture to get started with. Okay, so make sure you dose with that, but just don't dose with just Flourish. Okay, Flourish is not a all-in-one fertilizer. Okay, you're only going to get micronutrients, some micronutrients, only some, and then barely if any of the macronutrients. So Flourish is kind of useless. For me, it's a waste of money, especially when all it's giving you is like barely even half of the stuff that you need. With the CChem products, you'll need Flourish. Then you're gonna have to get a bottle of potassium. You have to get a bottle of nitrogen. You have to get a bottle of phosphorus, and it's just a complete waste of money. As well as I do know it works, it's just a waste of money. It's very readily available, but if you want things that work, you want to make it easy yourself without getting all those extra bottles, without paying out the butt for all those bottles. Get an all-in-one fert. There's tons of good all-in-one ferts out there. Easy for Green from Aquarium Co-op, Vital from H2O Plants, Growth Juice from Dust and Fish Tanks. Those will work expertly, really, really well. As well as, if you wish, get dry ferts that you can mix into a bottle, and that would save you tons of money, and it works really well. You get dry ferts from aquariumfertilizers.com as well as greenleafaquariums.com, I believe. But you want to get a all-in-one mix. It is the CBSM plus something of the rather. Let's take a look here. I will show you really quick. If we go to Aquarium Fertilizers, you go to Order Now. We want to get this is dry for, you want the macro micronutrient mix. Okay, and what it is a bag for 16 bucks, and you mix about 1/4 of a cup of the mix with 2 cups of distilled water. That's about 500 milliliters. That'll give you a 500 milliliter bottle, which is something like this. This is about 500 milliliters, just shy of 500 milliliters, but this is about it. This one will last you forever, depending on how many aquariums you have. But you mix that in the one bag of mix, you should be able to mix about 5 bottles. So 16 bucks will get you about 5, 6, maybe 6 bottles worth of all-in-one fertilizers, and that'll last you quite a bit. Now, if I go back to here, sorry, I'm showing you on the little smaller screen, but on the bigger screen, here we go. Sorry, it's a little dirty. This is Windex. I use this for cleaning my airbrushes, so it's not for my aquariums. Okay, so just remember that if you're going to use Echo Complete, use some kind of best way to do it. If you're not going to use inert substrate, not going to use soil, you're not going to use ADA aqua soil, make sure you get something that has a CEC value like Echo Complete, Stratum, fluorite. All that stuff will work. Well, you could use non-charged nutrient-rich substrate, like just regular aquarium gravel. It'll work. It just don't work as well. That's what I'm trying to say here. So yeah. Okay. Now the nice hacks. Currently, I have 1 dwarf gourami and 10 cardinals and a 20 long. Is there anything else you would add? Oh, add some cories, man. You're gonna have to stick with that 1 dwarf gourami. If you put any more in there, they might fight. They could get aggressive unless you decide to put a bunch of dwarf gouramis in there. But yeah, let's see. And 1 dwarf gourami, 10 cardinals. That's pretty good. If it's heavily planted, you can put a lot more stuff in it. But I would go with get a bunch of autos, get a bunch of shrimp, and then get a group of cories. I put panda cory in my 20 long. Right now there's 4. I got 6, but I think 2 died. But it's hard to tell. I know 1 died because I actually fished one out, its body out of the tank. But I've only seen 4 out at once, but they're a little tricky because they like hiding, especially if you have a lot of hiding places. And they like hanging out in the plants and stuff too. So it's hard to see them all at once. So I think I have 4 in there. So I think I might go out and get 2 or 3 more on the 20-gallon law. Actually, I could go to 10, but because it's heavily planted. So yeah, Corys. Choose the type you like. I like pandas because they're smaller, so I could have a little bit more in the tank because I like them in groups. So, but stir-by is my other favorite Corydalis because they're really pretty. But yeah, Corys would work great. Autos work great. Get a bunch of autos, 5 or 6, something like that. And shrimp. Get as much shrimp as you want. Tons of shrimp is good. 20, 30 would do good in 20-gallon of what you have. So I would go with that. You got the cardinals, mid floaters, dwarf gourami is going to go up and down. Most would probably hang up on top. I wish we could have more than one dwarf gourami. I mean, you could try it, but if they get aggressive, you're going to have to take them out. Danios are fun. They'll usually hang around the top part of your tank as well. So, yeah. 10 cardinals. I might add a couple more cardinals. Maybe 2 or 4 more maybe. Again, depending on how well your tank is filtered and how well your tank is planted. Like my 20-gallon downstairs, this exploded. I will do an update on that for you guys that's been following that. But since I started, pumping slow CO2 into it, keeping that high light and cutting off some of that highlight from the tank top, having a tank top on it, that thing's just been growing out of control. So, most of the trees put away? Gee, how big is that tree? Seriously. Javier, I have a 10-gallon dirted planted tank, but I don't use iron pellets when setting it up. Can I use liquid iron to dose? Sure. You can still use liquid iron to dose if you use iron pellets. But if you want, go on and get some iron pellets and stick it in your substrate. Put it in tabs or freeze it. And then just in little groups, and you could just stick them into your water, into your substrate. That will still help. But you could still dose with liquid iron. That's fine. Yes, Corys are a schooling fish. They are amazing. When you get tons of them in a big tank, like my 60-gallon that I want to set up next. Well, there's like 4 tanks I want to set up next, right? It's the 40-gallon Dutchish kind of style. Kind of the rebuild of that old 20-gallon I did before, but doing it in 40-gallon style, and then going to reboot my Iwigumi, doing my 5-gallon beta tank, and my 60-gallon I'm going to do as a angelfish tank. I keep saying low tech, but it's not low tech because I'm going to put CO2 into it. I will always put CO2 because I know what it does with plants and how I want the plants to grow. And with this tank, I want really lush Amazon swords in it. Really lush plants in it, right? And they were excellent with CO2. So I will be pumping in CO2 in that, using soil, probably capped with sand. Probably capped with sand. And then just aquascape the bejesus out of it. The lighting, which is something I want to try, is I'm going to use flood lamps and aquaponic grow lamp. I want to see if I could mix those together and see what kind of results I could get out of it by mixing daylight, floodlight, daylight lights with a mix of the aquaponics red and blues. Because when you use those are mainly reds. The lumens are really, really red. So all you will see is red. And sorry, kids are outside. So it will light up the tank red, but with the floodlights, with daylight, that should kind of balance it out. So we'll see how it works out. You're battling Columnarius right now. I'm about to try Canoplex. How will it affect me? I have no clue because I have no clue what those are. What is columnarius? Is that a disease or something? I thought you're battling Colombians or something. What? Too funny. Conoplex. I don't know what Conoplex is either. You guys gotta understand, I'm very weak in my knowledge about diseases because I rarely get any of that type of stuff in my tanks. I rarely have to ever tackle that kind of thing because I don't know. I'm very picky about what I put in my tanks, and I know what to and not to put in my tanks. For example, I will scope out a fish store before I buy anything from it. Basically, I will go there 2 or 3 times before I decide to buy fish from them, or I would look very carefully online and figure out if it's worth it to buy from them or not. Buying plants online is really easy because I would put in a small order from a store I've never ordered from on eBay, see how it comes to me, and then I will decide whether or not. Because if I buy one little $5 worth of plants, it's not going to cost me much to just see how it comes in, and if it's bad, I'll throw it away and say I'll never order from them again. And I did that for a couple of times, and that's how I found out the stores I will be using on eBay that I know will send me and ship me really, really good plants, whether or not they're lying or not too. Because I would order some kind of plants that it's hard to identify. Sometimes, like pearlweed. You order pearlweed, and a lot of times they will send you baby tears. So one thing I test them out is I order pearlweed from them, put it in my tank, grow it, make sure it's not grown immersed. Immersed. Because if it's grown immersed, it'll look like baby tears. But once it's grown immersed, you can tell it's pearlweed or baby tears. So I stick that, grow it out, and if it looks like pearlweed for sure, then I know they're not lying. They know what they're doing. Siamese algae eaters or Society for American Engineers. Sorry, I got work brain today. I'm not entirely sure what that means. Let's see, where are we at? Whoa. Your tank did fine with just potassium and iron. Cool. Hello, a little late. Had to make a cup of Java. Hey, coffee is always important, right? Siamese algae are all members of SAE. Okay. Sphinx LOL. Probably wouldn't use those rations for spray bottles though, right? Since it's concentrated. Well, what rations are you talking about? Do I have a pet turtle? No, I don't have a pet turtle yet. I might. I don't know. I watch the Turtle Girl all the time, and she's really cool. And I've been watching her a lot of videos and learning about turtles. I had little baby turtles a long time ago when I was young. I'm like most people probably did. But yeah, I might get a pet turtle. I don't know. Hey, Just Lem, welcome to the live chat. Al Coco, big question here. I have a 75-gallon and I want to put a strong light Phoenix Fug Ray. Do you think it's a good idea if I'm not adding CO2? On a 75-gallon, what are you, like 18 inches high, 22 inches high? You're going to put a Phoenix Fug Ray. Not the Stingray Freeway. Okay, you will do fine. You don't have to add CO2. It will always help if you add CO2. And even if you don't have CO2, just adjust your lighting. The Fug Ray on a 75-gallon, which is probably going to be 18 to 22 inches high, you're going to be fine. If you're just putting one strip, you'll be fine. It should cover all your tank. Getting down to 18 inches, 22 inches, you're going to get about low light. Yeah, you'll be fine. You don't have to add CO2. If you find that it's too much light, you could for the Fug Ray, is that 24/7? If it's the 24/7, you're going to be able to adjust the intensity. If it's not the 24/7, then you could always adjust the height. Okay, you could always raise it a little higher if it's too much light. But you should be fine with just one light fixture. And make sure it's the Fug Ray you're talking about, not the Stingray. If it's a Stingray, I find that it's not enough light for a 75-gallon tank. It'd be considered low light, but very low light. And right now, that's what I have on my office tank, and I'm considering putting a floodlight on it, just to raise the lighting up a little because I have brown algae in it. So I need to adjust the lighting, actually more intense lighting. When you have brown algae, it's a very good sign that you have inadequate lighting. And yeah, there's other factors to brown algae, but that's one of the big factors because I keep my water clean in that tank. So then it has to be the lighting. So I'm going to put a flood lamp on it. And plus the plants are going really, really slow. It's driving me nuts. Sphinx, hello. Are you going to dry start your uigumi again? Yes, I am dry starting it, and I'm actually dry starting it with soil this time because I actually want to do a video on it. People have been asking me, can you do it with soil? Yes, you can. They want to know how, and it's hard to explain. It's better if I just make a video of it. So that is my attempt to make a video doing a dry start with soil tank. With soil substrate, sorry. Hey, Tom Nash, welcome to chat. Battling Colombian. Well, that's what I thought he said, battling Colombian. So I was just like, all right. I guess that's kind of a wish list kind of thing. I don't know how many people have on the wish list they want to battle Colombians. I'm assuming Colombian drug lords, not just Colombians. Then that'd be a little racist, right? Holy cow, what would CO2 injections do to my guppy grass? They'll probably just make them explode. Guppy grass, they'll just eat anything. Guppy grass will just take advantage of everything in your tank if you give it to them. You might have to trim them every other day, probably. But, you know, that's one of the things. Here's one of the things I have want to do. On my 75-gallon tank at work, it's got a one strip of the Stingray on it. And as much as I love Phoenix Stingray, it's just not enough lighting for a 75-gallon tank. And there's water wisteria in it that I bought from a place. And it's growing, and especially with water wisteria, you know how water wisteria grows. It grows like crazy, even in low light. Not growing crazy enough for me. I want tons of water wisteria. So what I'm going to do is, I think since I have like kind of a blank spot in the back of my current 20 gallon long that I have downstairs that you guys seen, I think I'm going to take a little trimming, maybe about that much of a trimming of the water wisteria, and then I'm going to take it home and plant it in that tank and just grow it out so that I could have bushels so I could take it back to the office and just continue growing it there and just get a bushel, because I only bought like one stem. I think I bought it from Jacob's Aquarium, and it was grown immersed, and I had to grow it submersed in that stupid 75-gallon tank that takes forever to do. But it's doing its thing, but not fast enough for me. See, I get impatient with plant growth, especially when I figure, once you figure out all the factors of how to really push plant growth on it, it will drive you nuts. Like low-tech tanks will drive you absolutely nuts. It drives me nuts. That's why I don't think, from now on, I'm going to say, I would say, oh, I'm going to go low-tech. It's never going to happen. It's going to just switch to high-tech or more tech. Let's say that. I will have to inject CO2 in it. I will have to put more lighting in it. Whether I get expensive lighting or if I just blast it with floodlights, right? And of course, it's the easiest way is soil it. Soil everything. You get so much, nutrients out of the soil. It just grows plants crazy. The only time that I'm not going to use soil that I planned out is that 40-gallon that I want to test out, because I'm going to be moving plants around so much. I don't think that it's going to be smart to have a soil tank doing that. Because you're going to make a mess when you move plants around. But if you're going to move plants around that much, it's probably better to go regular substrate. So what I probably will do, I don't know, I've been thinking about it. I might just do a very thin layer of soil and then cap it about 2 inches of Echo Complete. I might just do it that way, so that most of the roots will take up through the Echo Complete. So when I pull it out, it's still going to be Echo Complete. The soil just should be way at the bottom somewhere. So that's what I'm going to do for that. Well, I'll explain it when I make the videos on that tank. Heather, welcome to the chat. I see you right there. Thank you for joining me and us today. Guppy grass. I have no clue. You know what? Ask someone here. See if they'll send you some guppy grass. Do some trades, guys. Plant trading is actually really good. I was talking to Alex and I told him, and he mentioned he wanted lobelias. And I said, dude, I have extremely tons of lobelia, especially in that 20-gallon tank. When I do the next update of the 20-gallon tank, you'll see what I'm talking about. I have lobelias up my butt. I have no clue what to do with because I propagated it so much on all the areas I need it to be at. It's already full. So now it's just growing up. So you see forests of lobelias now. And I have to trim it down, but I don't know what to do with the plants. Alex says, "Oh, I will totally love some of that, and I'll send you some of mine, which is fine. I'll send some of my lobelias, and I'll figure it out later with him. See what he can give me. But tons of lobelia. I got tons of freaking pearl wheat. Ugh. I have to trim out on that tank too. So, but the good news is those compactors, those Amazon compactors are freaking. They're like that little one that was in the back is just huge now. I can't wait to do the next update on that so you guys can see. Bacteria infection came out of quarantine. Oh, okay, I see. Normally, you have to read the box, but normally chemicals should be okay. It shouldn't affect your plants. But I just read the back. Usually the medications usually won't affect the plants. Some might, so you really should read the back and do your research. If you ask me, I wouldn't be able to tell you. I have enough experience with medicating my tank because I never have had a problem of diseased fish. I mean, just for the main thing of that, I don't concentrate on fish that much. I concentrate more on the plants. The fish are decorations for my planting tanks. So I don't get that many fish a lot. You know what I'm saying? I don't add fish all the time. That's not the main focus of my tanks. When I go to the bigger tanks, then yeah, then I have to watch out for like then I would be a little more. See, I don't quarantine my fish because I don't need to. Everything's always tetras, always things, small things. And if things blow out on my tank and kills the livestock, it's not a big deal. I mean, I'll be sad. It's livestock, but I won't lose that much money out, right? But when I do my angel tank, it's going to be a different story. When I do a reef tank, different story. When I do my discus tank, different story. These are really expensive fish, and it's going to hurt my wallet if they all die, if the whole tank just explodes, right? So then the story changes where I'll start paying attention more to the fish. But all my aquarium life, though, I've never had problem because I always made sure I got fish from reputable sources or things that I've tested. I do that. I test places where you buy fish and stuff out before I actually buy lots of fish from them. Freshly Unreal, welcome to the chat. Hey, what plant LED fixture should I put in my standard 55 gallons to grow medium to low light plants with CO2? Okay, cheap, and you're not worried about the look of it on your tank, get floodlights. All right? If you are going to grow plants that are just green in nature, let's talk about this right now. Green in nature plants. And we are talking about less demanding plants that don't need special attention. Okay, that doesn't need the red spectrum of lights to grow well. Okay, all plants will use all the spectrums of light. Okay, and then depending on the spectrum of light, it affects the way they grow. Blue lights make them grow taller. The red lights make them grow out more, and the green lights just make them grow. Okay, the floodlights that we use, the daylight floodlights that people use for a cheap solution, works well, and it could be very intense too, depending on how powerful a light you get. But the problem is it's missing a lot of the red spectrum in those daylight floodlights. Okay, so if you're not looking for a very huge like bushy growth, then you can get away with it cheap by using flood lamps, daylight flood lamps. Okay, if you wanted a cheap way and do that, go LED flood lamps. It will work great. Get an IP66, IP65. That's the rating on waterproofing, and they'll keep it safe from getting electrocution on your tank or whatever. Okay, so on a 55-gallon tank, because since it's getting to a big size tank, you gotta start watching your wallet. Now you can go and get those expensive lights, okay, but what you're spending on is the quality of lights as well as the quality of the spectrum of the light. Okay, at that level of lighting, they make sure that you have a full spectrum of light that you're giving your plants. Okay, so my suggestions is if you want to go cheap, flood lamps and grow less demanding plants like swords, java ferns, nubius, wisteria, cryptochlorines, floodlights will do you well. If you want to do a lot of very high demanding plants, the really, really bright red plants and stuff like that, then you have to start looking at lights that actually has a full spectrum rating to it. At that point, it gets more expensive. At a 55 gallon, and you're looking at probably a 3-foot strip. If you go with Phoenix, it's going to cost you over 100. If you go with Fresh and Planted LED, that's the other one I suggest. It will go over $100 for you. But suggestion, Fresh and Planted 2.0, 3.0 on the Fluval brand. On the Phoenix brand, go with the Fugray. Okay, the fresh, it is the, you could go with the, depending on your depth on your 55 gallon, which is probably going to be pretty big. You want to go with the 24/7, the Phoenix 24/7s. The Phoenix, is it the Stingray? No, not the Stingray. It's the Fugray, which is 24/7, and the other one, which is the Ray 2. All right, the Ray 2 was built for penetrating depths. If you're going to go a massive like HC carpet, you're going to have to go with something that's that intense, that's going to penetrate depth. Okay, and if you need to penetrate depth and get a lot of high lighting, then you would want to go with the Ray 2. Okay, but those are the two I suggest for the really, really highlight. The other ones, people always, they clamor on, the higher, the more expensive high output, what is it? Beams work, or the other one, whatever, the Made in China one. They swear it works, whatever. I don't know. I haven't personally used it to grow really good, like demanding plants. I know everyone says it works. I'm like, what are you growing? And they're growing, Java fern or Amazon sort of whatever. Okay, then that's fine. It should work. It's going to work. It's supposed to work. Okay, those again, I can't find the spectrums on them. I can't find the chart on how well the spectrum are being used to grow plants. Okay, so just straight up recommendations on your Planet LED fixture for 55 gallon. Stick with Phoenix, Fugray 24/7, the Ray 2, or the Fluval Fresh and Plant 2.0 or 3.0. Always go with those. Those are your best bang for the buck, and I know we'll do well. If you want to go cheap, and I know we'll do well as well, and if you're not growing weird demanding plants, then go with a flood lamp. Okay? And like I said, I mentioned earlier, my 60-gallon tank, I am going to get 2 flood lamps. I believe maybe 30 watts or 50 watts. And then I'm going to get 2, I think, 30-watt hydroponic grow lights. Because I can't have that much intensity. See, the thing with these hydroponic plant grow lights, if you look on Amazon, you'll see them. Actually, you know what? I can share this with you guys here. Hold on. Let's go to Amazon. Counts. Where's my stupid list? My list. Now, here's the floodlights that I'm going to get for my 60-gallon. 2 of these. They're going to cost me $20. They are 50 watts. I'm afraid that they might be a little too strong. Since I don't have a stupid power meter, I wouldn't be able. I have to, just wing it. All right. But it is 6500 daylight. It'll give me that white light, the look of it. But it's just going to give me that regular, mostly green and blue spectrum for my plants. And then I am going to get these. These are only $20. These are 12 watts. Okay, 12 watts. All right, now on a 60-gallon, I'm looking at about 20 inches in height, in depth of growth. Okay, because this is a hydroponic grow lamp, it doesn't work the same as your typical aquarium lighting. Okay, these type of lamps, when you look at people who grow plants outside of the aquarium, these lamps are like way up high. I mean, literally way high. Then again, they're like 300, 400,000 watt fixtures, okay? And even at that, you need them really, really, really high, or you're just going to burn your plants. So if I get 12 watt, maybe if I could find a 20 watt type of grow lamp, a hydroponic grow lamps, it should work at the top of my tank without raising it all the way to the ceiling type of thing. So I am going to try that and see how well it works. Again, these lights, these hydroponic lights, if you just use those, you got to look at it here. Let's go ahead and go back and look at this. We are looking at, let's see here, the red spectrum shining at 630 nanometers, which is what you want, 630 and 660, which is perfect. That's what you want. And then the blues will illuminate at 460 nanometers, the white lights at 27K. So at 27K, all you're going to see, all we are going to see, if that's the only light you see, we're going to see red. It literally is going to be red. It's like a it's like if you're developing film. I don't know if any of you guys are old enough to remember that when we used to take pictures, we have to develop film, and you would go to a dark room, and then when you go in the dark room and you want to see what you're doing without overexposing your film, we use this red light, and it looks like you're in a dark room with red light in it. It also looks like, you know, one of those psycho killers lighting their room up right before they do their kill kind of thing. Yeah, I know, I watch too much TV. Too many movies. But yeah, that's the thing I'm talking about there, is when things that I want to try with that tank. Let's see here. Prolific Breed, welcome to the chat. Dropping the smash a like for you. Happy Saturday. Thank you very much, sir. Looks like your stir-by Corys are carriers. Oh no. Sorry to hear that. 20 gallon long is the best dimension. Yeah. It's been best dimension for, it depends on what you want to try to do. Night Crew is the other one. Yeah, they you know, people are like, yeah, get the high output Night Crew. Yeah, well, whatever. Everyone says it because, you know, it's just whatever goes with works for you. Stingrays are expensive for new. No, Stingrays are expensive because they're nice lights. That's why they're expensive. They're made with quality. I got Night Crew. That's a piece of shit plastic. It'll work, but it's still a piece of shit plastic. And none of the bulbs with the Night Crews are not. They're the reason why they're cheap is because they're using cheap diodes. Those things can burn out really easy. And I can tell you, it's not, I have my Night Crew. When I put it on my tank, if I saw the red diode shine a red light, you know, you see the red dot in the tank. That's horrible. That means that they're not using the correct red lighting to grow plants. They're just using a red lighting because they think that just because they have red light in it is going to grow. It's not. It's in the wrong nanometers. See, this is the problem with going with something like Night Crew and stuff. Now, people are going to argue with that. That's fine. Argue with it. All right. I know what I'm doing. So what I'm going to suggest to you is what I know. People are going to suggest what they know too. What I know is based on plant growth, the spectrum, the par rating, and all that stuff. Everyone's adjusted to, they judge it by, oh, it grows plants because I put it on my tank. And it will. That is true. Put a Night Crew on your tank, and if you get the right environment and you have the right environment set up, it will grow your plants just fine. You know, it depends on how fast, how well you want to grow your plants, and what your pocketbook looks like. You know, and that's the thing. I haven't released the next video on the lighting yet, but it's all about the fixtures for the more expensive high budget lighting. And I will say in that thing is that you don't need high budget light to grow plants. You can still grow plants with something built well. Okay, I'm saying built well here. Okay, you can go out and buy a Night Crew, the very cheap ones, and you can still probably grow plants, depending on what kind of plants you're growing, depending on what kind of environment you're getting. But is it going to grow plants nicely? Okay, especially when you can go out and get something cheaper than Night Crew and get a flood lamp, will do the same exact results, but you might actually get a better fixture out of it. Okay, it's again, all in the bang in the buck. Can I use no more organic soil for planted aquarium? Yes, you can. Just make sure there's nothing weird in it. Okay. If you just use normal organic soil potting mixture, you should be just fine. Try not to use topsoil stuff because topsoil doesn't always come with all the nutrients you need. Because topsoil is all about topsoiling. I'll be adding CO2 at a later time. I'll be getting the Fuji, not the Stingray. Okay, Fuji will work fine on your on the tank that size. Hey Jad, welcome to the live chat, buddy. Oh, I lost my place. There you go. More tech it is? More tech? It really is. Low tech and high tech. That's what we say, low tech, high tech. It's how much tech you have in the tank. Your most bottomest low tech tank is simply the wall stomp method, where you barely even where you're not even supposed to use a filter. Low tech so slow. Yeah, it is. It is slow. Thinking a winter project, tear down that tank and use soil. Tank too small for CO2. How small is your tank? Honestly, no tank is too small for CO2. You still inject CO2 using the passive CO2 method way. Should I use another substrate above organic soil? No, you want to use sand. You want to use a cap so that you don't get soil all over the place when you're moving stuff around. Okay, you could use something like what will work really well is something like Echo Complete, where it has where the rocks, the substrate that it composes of has a good CEC value. Okay, which means that it's going to take the nutrient out of your organic soil and store it into their own rocks. Okay, to provide nutrients for your plants. What type of soil do I need? Anything that's you can grow plants with. Potting soil, anything. I always go with organic because I know they're not putting anything in it. But if you're not going with organic, just make sure there's nothing in it that will kill your fish. Oh, welcome to the live chat, Air Bear. Welcome to the live chat, Vinosky Tank. Good to see you, have you on board. What type of soil I need? I already answered that. Alcoco, don't do that. I'm thinking about what he's saying. He's thinking about doing a complete cap with fluval shrimp substrate. You don't need to do that. That's a waste of money. Unless you're just trying to fill in your substrate. But there's really no point. Those two substrates are very similar. Neither of them will give you full nutrient. Give you full nutrients that your plants need. Okay, you still need to dose your water column. Okay, I looked up fluval shrimp substrate. You're talking about, I believe, fluval shrimp substrate is what is it called? Damn it, I forgot the name of the substrate. I'm going blank right now. They're literally almost the same thing. Okay, they're not supercharged with nutrients, so use either or. Honestly, unless you're just trying to save money, because I know the fluval the shrimp substrate that he's talking about costs a lot more than Echo Complete. Or just totally abandon the fluval shrimp substrate and just use full Echo Complete. Alright. Either will work. Mixing them together will not gain you anything. Neither will you lose anything either. So I'm only assuming you want to do that just to save money. Originally about 10, 11 in winter. Not gonna relax. Grass have to go up. Alright. Go on. Welcome to the live chat, 54 Punchy. Welcome, Car Galaxy Studios. How you doing, buddy? Hey, Nick didn't do his live chat today, did he, Car? Cause I didn't see anything about it. I was depressed all morning long. I didn't get to see his live chat, his live show. Hey, while I'm scrolling down, make sure anyone doesn't have anything Any questions? Hi, Susan. Welcome to chat. Listening while you're changing water, huh? Do floodlights get hot? No. If you get decent floodlights, they usually don't get hot. That's the whole thing. That's why they look the way they do, because they have a huge heat sink in the back. But normally, the ones I have don't get hot. So you should be okay. Does it heat up your water? Maybe a little, but I don't think it's going to be that much of a problem. Unless you're living in a really, really hot weathered place. But honestly, I've been talking and pushing a lot about floodlights, because for a lot of people who's just beginning aquariums and just want to switch to planted tanks, they're not going to go for the hard stuff. They're going for the easy stuff, and that easy stuff can easily be grown with floodlights. And the reason why I go with floodlights, because one, they're waterproof. They're nicely built. Okay, they don't get hot. All right, and they're not cheaply made like the Nycrew or the Beansworth. Okay, when I got my Nycrew, I was totally not impressed. Okay, it felt like a toy to me. And people will say, well, you gotta get the high output ones. I go, why should I get the high outputs when they can't even make the low outputs any good? All right, and then the quality of the diodes they use is, I'm sorry, but shit. All right, when I have the light on the tank, and it's lighting the tank, and I could actually see the spots that the diodes are making, that's horrible lighting. Especially when I could see like the blue dots and the red dots. You're not supposed to see the dots. They're supposed to be meshed together to give you that one light, that one shine, you know? It doesn't do that. I hate that. So that's why I've never gone beyond going for the high outputs. I'm not going to pay all the extra money for a high output version if they can't get the low output version right. What's up, Waterbox Squad? How you doing past the dirt road? Welcome to the live chat. Welcome, Accurate Aquarius. Did I say hi to Cecil yet? Hi, Cecil. I know you came in here, but... let's see here. Welcome to the live chat, Ilya. Ilya, is that how you say your name? Hi there, I just got my 110 liter the other day. Planning on doing a plan to set up with Denerol's Nutri Basis 61 plant soil and this small particle gravel to go top. Is that all I need, or am I missing anything? I can't tell you. I don't know the Denari Nutri Basis. I haven't looked into that, so I can't tell you if it has everything you need. But I know Denari really does make all the product towards the planted tank thing. So I might be good. I don't know. I have to look into it. I can't give you that answer. I don't know if that's all you need. But just like any plant or any planted tank, make sure you get ferts so you could dose your water column. Hey Syed, welcome to the chat. Just want to say hi. Keep the good. Love your live chats. Thanks, man. Glad to see you. Glad to have you on board. I've been thinking about using Eco-Complete and capping with sand. What do you think? That's a horrible idea, Heather. Capping sand with Eco-Complete, all you're going to do is getting the sand just spilling into the Eco-Complete, and all you're going to have is Eco-Complete plus sand. It's not going to stay as a cap. Okay, sand will just drift into the Eco-Complete. The reason why I know this is because I did it. Okay, and it did not work. I used black sand, fluval black sand, and all it did was just fill in all the spots that Eco-Complete left. And it just became Eco-Complete plus sand. Okay? So there's no cap. So don't do that. That won't work. Well, I mean, you can. Do whatever you want, Heather. But you're going to come back to me in about a couple months and say, yeah, you're right. It's just Eco-Complete plus sand. Have 2 Beaver full spectrum 165 gallon works well for low to midnight plants. Awesome. Thank you for your responsibility. You helped me a lot. Appreciate it. No problem. And you guys gotta understand, I'm saying bad. I'm not. I don't know. I recommend against Beansworth and Nycrew based on my experiences, based on what I understand, and based on what I like about my tanks. If it works for you guys, go for it. But if someone asks me to recommend them things, I will not recommend them. Sorry, it's not my thing. Especially when I get floodlights, that does the job way better, and looks way better in my opinion. Then yeah. I will actually go with something that I know works better. Oh, well, your cores will be fine with complete. Complete's not sharp. That is so much that you have to worry about it for your cores. They'll be fine with complete. You just switch your 55 gallons and you love it. Nice. Well, glad to hear it, Caitlin. Welcome to the live chat. Phoenix will give you algae if you don't dose CO2 or since it's hot. No. There's such wrong information. Please stop doing that. Phoenix will not... Yeah, highlight will give you algae, but if you don't know what you're doing, yeah. You don't need CO2 to get rid of it. Just raise your damn lights. I hate it when people do that. Oh, you're getting algae, highlight, get CO2. It's bullshit. Stop saying shit like that. I'm gonna kick you out of this chat. Sorry, I'm getting really, really pissed off people saying stupid things like that. Why are my Anubias browning near the stems? I have rhizomes above the substrate level. Browning your stem near the stems? Join the Facebook group and take a picture of it and show us and let me know what kind of lighting you have and stuff like that. Because that could mean a lot of things. I mean, it could be just brown algae settling on your leaves. You might just be able to just wipe it off. See if you can wipe it off. My tank length, 36 inches, 15 inches height, 18 inches. I want to grow HC carpet. Can I use it with a 20-watt flood lamp for it? What kind of HC carpet? It's 15-inch height. Do this, Tammy. Do this. Try 50 watt. Okay. And then if it's too much light, because 15, you're looking at, are you saying 15-inch height or 18-inch height? Okay, because if you go with 50 watt, you can at least raise the light. Okay, so that's one way you can do it. It's better to get higher lighting because you could raise it rather than get lower lighting because you can't stick it into the water. You know, lower it and stick it in your water. So you might want to go with that. And again, it's cheap enough that it shouldn't cost you too much. You could say if the 50 watt was too much, save it for a bigger tank later. But at 36 inches, breadth 15, height is, or your height is 18 inches, you should be good with the 50 watt. Try 50 watt. 20 watt might be too not enough lighting. I wish I had a par meter. I'd be able to tell you for sure. Master, how to control black hair algae? Black hair algae. Make sure you're not over. Are you doing your water changes? Make sure there's not too much nutrients. Make sure you do your water changes. Make sure you got good flow in your tank. Black hair algae is easy to get rid of. You can just drain your tank and then spray it with hydrogen peroxide. That usually kills hair algae, but you gotta figure out what's growing it in the first place. Are you overfeeding your tank or whatever? Too much nutrients in your tank? Too much phosphates happening in your tank? But controlling any algae, not just black bear algae, is just balancing your tank, getting it right. If you're feeding too much, that means you're providing it too much nutrient, feed less. If you're ferreting too much in your tank, that means you're providing too much nutrients. Again, don't fert your tank less. If you're not giving your plants enough light to grow fast enough to outcompete the algae, get more light. You might want to balance it with some kind of CO2 solution. Better, probably, pressurized CO2 is always the best way to do it. But yeah, the fix for any algae is just get your tank balance right. That's how you control algae. How you fix it, how do you fix black algae is use hydrogen peroxide. Easiest way to do it. And if all else fails and everything gets out of control, black out your tank for 3 days and reset everything and start over. Hey, Neek. Yeah, a little better. Now my sniffles are just from the stupid algaes. Allergies, not algaes. Allergies. Feel old to drag up 55-gallon. Feel old to size down anything. Everything. That's okay. I feel old to do anything, man. Hey, HC Aqua. Welcome to live chat, buddy. Hello, Charlie. Welcome to live chat. Mean Mug. Yes, Stratum. Thank you. Bold and Dangerous. Welcome to the live chat, buddy. Oh, my first fish. My very, very, very first fish. Well, if you consider my very own fish was a arowana. But before that, my mom had goldfish, and I used to help her with that. Fancy goldfish. My first fish was actually an arowana. And you guys should watch that video. I have a video on that. It's called The Fish That Got Away. It was released like last month or something. And I talk about my first fish. Oh, you want to save money? Honestly, I think saving money, the best way to go is flood lamps. It's just so easy and it works great. I'm making a 5-gallon tank for my betta fish. Well, so am I, Manish. Should it be good if it will planted? Well, any tank will do good if it was planted. All right, that's like extra filtration for your betta. Yeah, definitely plant it. Get a plant. Maybe well, if it's 5 gallons, get a Nubius, right? Because it has broad leaves, and your betta will love perching on those broad leaves. Oh, that's right. He's at VidCon. Duh. And I totally forgot VidCon. I had to go to Buffalo, New York, so I didn't have a chance to go to VidCon. It's like right here in my backyard, right? But the problem is, I got back on Thursday, so I'm not going to pay $250 just to go on Saturday because I have to work on Friday. And I didn't want to. I didn't want to use up my time, my vacation time for one day because I want to save it for aquatic experience if I decide to go. It's one of those, just give and take things. Do I want to go to VidCon? Do I want to go to aquatic experience? Kind of thing. But, you know, there's Video Summit coming up, and I think I might be more interested in that. But that one's $750. But I think that one's where you get a lot more out of it about growing your YouTube channel. A lot more high state. You know, it's more about growing your YouTube channel, right? About how to succeed in your YouTube channel. So I think Vid Summit is more worth it to go than VidCon. VidCon seems like such a. When I told my friend, like, oh, I'm gonna, you know, I told my coworker, oh, I'm gonna miss out on VidCon. He's like, why are you going to VidCon? Is that for all the kiddies going to drew over their YouTube stars? I go, well, VidCon's more than that, but yeah, that's one of the big reasons VidCon's around, I guess. But yeah, but then see, here's the problem: Vid Summit is 2 weeks before Aquatic Experience, so now it's not only about time off. It's about the budget, right? I mean, $750 for Vid Summit, which is fine. It's here in my backyard. It's just a 20-minute drive from me. But $750. That $750 just goes to my hotel fee for Aquatic Experience. And, you know, plane tickets. So, it's all about balancing. And what do I want to do? You know, learn about, to grow more my channel more, which I can learn about, I guess, on YouTube, or, you know, or advertise my channel and you know, kind of just mingle with everyone here that's going to be there, you know. That's kind of, I guess, worth it more to me, you know. Hi. I don't know who you're saying hi to. Waterbox, will you be building your do-it-yourself? Yeah, I've been thinking about some plans about how to build a do-it-yourself floodlight rack. I don't know if it's holder, but I've been trying to figure out how I want to do it. and the thing is important because I also have to make it so that I could raise it and lower it whenever I want. Now, here's the thing: if the floodlight and the mix with the floodlight and the grow light works well, I think that's the way I'm just gonna go from there on. You know, it's not gonna look very nice, but it looks nice. You know, and the thing about getting something like a Phoenix or any of those fixtures, Phoenix, the Crew or whatever, because they're fixtures made for the aquarium, so it'll look better. You know, but does that really matter? You know, do you want the top of your tank to look better, or do you want your actual tank to look better? You know, the plants in your tank to look good. You know, as long as the top looks fine, you know, you can get away with it. Then, you know, why should I pay the extra money and make it look super good? And also, you can just build a hood, right, for your tank. I just don't like hoods myself, but you always build a hood and hide all that stuff. So then, of course, it raises the cost a little. And then you're going to talk about, well, where are you going to spend your money now? Buy a very good lamp fixture that looks good, or buy a cheaper solution but build a hood that looks good. But I guess it's, you know, it depends on everyone's boat. Whatever floats the boat, go with it. The relation 10:1:13 is for learn about plants consume, or is it for add macros? I'm not sure what the 10:1:13 is. I think, are you talking about the nutrient 10:1:13 thing? The ratio? I never looked into that. I just add nutrients when I know my plants need it. After a while, you toss out all the measurements and ratios and stuff because you start understanding what your plants need or don't need. You go with it. But, you know, when you first start applying a tank, especially when you start getting nutrients and they give you a ratio, start with that. If it sounds like it's easier for you to understand, start with that, because that's where you're going to start understanding how to do it. All right, and then after a while, when you get experience about how to dose and provide nutrients for your plants, you can toss it aside, because after that, you're going to start knowing what and how much nutrients you need to give your tank based on how well they're growing. The process to cool down the temperature of water in heat like that, especially in India. I know I live in LA, so we have the same problem here. Is blow a fan. Fan blowing on top of your water, okay, will cool it down a few degrees. All right, there's products out there that you can buy that would do that. It will hang on, you know, that you can attach to the side of your tank. It'll just blow air, and then just kind of blow air out, skimming on the top of your tank, and then blowing it out so you have circulation, and that will cool your tank down pretty well. You can build stuff like using computer fan. I saw someone do that. Someone posted something like that on our Facebook group page, where they built a hood with all these computer fans and with pretty color LED colors too in the hood, which blows down into the water, the surface of the water, to keep it cool. So you could do something like that too. But that's the easiest way to do it without going all into tech. And if you want to go into tech, then there's ways around it. Buying a cooler, which will cost you a tremendously amount of money. But there are products out there that will cool your water. You know, you run it through like a filter. It's like a filter. It's a box like a filter, and you just run the water through it, and it'll keep your tank water cooler. There's something called the Arctic. I think it's called Arctic Breeze or something. It's like a contraption where you actually have to drill in your tank and then install it. And basically, what it is a coil that cools your water. It's kind of like the coils you use for refrigeration. And that works kind of well. But the problem I don't like about that is that you have to drill your tank. I'm horrible at doing stuff like that because I will break my tank. Drives me nuts. Same question here. Yeah, if you get heat and your environment naturally heats up your tank, and you don't have AC, especially in places like India and stuff where AC is just ridiculously expensive to run your household, try doing that. You just take a regular fan and just point it to the top of your aquarium and just blow into the surface of the water. And yes, it will evaporate your water a little more, but that's the trade-off. I have an 80A Cube Garden 12 liter. What lamp can you use? Well, let's look up that 80A one first. I don't know what the 80A Cube Garden was about 12 inches by 12 inches by 12 inches. Listen, my European friends, we are on the imperial system, so when you say liters and millimeters and stuff, you're going to confuse this American guy. All right, let's see here. Yeah, 14, A5 to 10. Okay, you can get a are you planning to grow? Get a Phoenix clip-on. Those will work fine. Fluval has those new clip-ons too. Let's see here, Phoenix. Boop. All right, the Phoenix Fugue Ray Planet Plus. You can get this one if you're growing high demand plants, or you get the Stingray, which if you grow less high light demanding plants, you get the Stingray LED clip. Okay. The other one is the Fluval. It's a number. I can't remember. I hate when Fluval do that. Fluval light. You get the Evo. That should work too. That will work for that tank. The Edge should work. Where'd it go? Edge that will work too. There was another one, more expensive version, but let's see it here. Yeah, but it goes after, you know, what kind of plants you want to grow too. Here we go. This one will work too. It'll work well. And of course, what you can do is do what I did and try using I got this for my I'm gonna try it on my 10-gallon, a 10-watt floodlight, daylight white powered LED. It's only $10. It gives off 6,000 Kelvin, so you get a white light looking shining into your tank. And yeah, this should work. You just have to figure out how to mount it, right, on top of your tank. If you have a tank cover, you just put it on top of the tank cover and see if that works. All right, hope that answers your questions. Question. I got baby beta from Petco recently. I have him in a 10-gallon tank with a fluval shrimp substrate and live plants. Is it okay to put ghost shrimp with a baby beta? You know what? You're going to have to take your chances. Everyone keeps telling me that bettas will eat shrimp depending on the betta. All right, some people say their bettas don't touch the shrimp. Some people say the betta will go after their shrimp. I mean, some people say their betta is so aggressive that they go after a shrimp that's bigger than the betta itself and eat it. So that is completely up to you, Heather. You give it a try. Put a couple of shrimps in there to see if your betta goes after it. What is your favorite kind of shrimp? I like Amano shrimps and cherry shrimps. I'm not into those specialized shrimps, really. I'm not much of a shrimp keeper. I'm not into it yet. I don't know if I ever will be. I don't know. Again, for me, shrimp, fish, all that, they're decorations for my planted tanks. What kind of floodlight do you need for a 20-gallon tank to grow HC? Is this 20-gallon long or 20-gallon regular 20-gallon? If you do for a 20-gallon, you might try a 20-watt. Okay, I think a 50-watt would be too much. Okay, you know, one day I will get a par meter and I will figure it out more accurately. Okay, because, you know, right now all we have with floodlights is go by wattage. And that's the way I could go by, is the wattage. And then test it out. The only reason why I mean going by wattage, I know by the wattage because I already tested out a 50-watt on a 40-gallon. And that was a little intense. Just a little. But I'm basing off of that. and basing off how how powerful these lights are, based on their stats when you buy them. But wattage is a very bad way to go about it, but that's the only thing that we can go by. Yeah, like Julia says, she says her betta occasionally bites the antennas off their nerite snails. Depends on how aggressive they are. Some bettas are really peaceful. They don't even bother other people in their tank. But some bettas will just go after them for no freaking reason. Bettas could be asses. Due to high outside temperature, the water temperature of aquarium also goes high. Yeah, of course. That's logic, yeah. Is that what you're asking? Yeah. If the temperature outside is high, so outside of the aquarium is high, then yeah, the aquarium will rise too, the temperature of the aquarium. But if you use a fan, that should cool it down a little. Now the problem is they'll actually make the aquarium hotter than the temperature outside, usually, depending on how big the tank is. Have to look while getting some water changes done. If I don't make it back to chat, thank you for the great chat. Thanks, Heather. Get your water changes done. SMB is my first live stream, bro. I got some mono shrimps in a planted 20 gallon. What other shrimp would you advise me getting to and plants at? Well, you can add any plants you want. Like, will grow in whatever you have set up in your 20 gallon tank. I don't know what your lighting is. I don't know if you're providing CO2. I don't know what kind of nutrients you're giving it. But just, yeah, I don't know what kind of setting you have. For shrimp, for hardy shrimps, Amano shrimps, again, hardy cherry shrimps or hardy shrimps. These are the two types of shrimps that will survive in a lot of different environments. If you go for more specialized shrimp, then you have to start watching out for TDS and all that stuff, like how much stuff is in your water and stuff. And then you're going to start worrying about using RO water and stuff like that, because that's when you start getting specialized shrimp. But if you want to keep with hardy shrimp that's hard to die, Amano shrimps and cherry shrimps will do you good. For plants, I don't know. Whatever plants will grow in your tank. It depends on what kind of setting you have. So I can't tell you. Yeah, VCon is expensive. I would have went as well as too much and too far from me. Yeah. I don't know, Carl. Where do you live? Yeah, it would be it'd be cool to hang out with Nick and the gang. I wish I could have made it. Quad experience where you get free stuff. Oh, I don't need free stuff, really. I need certain stuff. So those companies can contact me, especially you, Apogee. If you wish to send me a par meter, I will pimp the shit out of it because I'm going to use the shit out of it. And yeah. But send me the good one, all right? The one that actually measures the correct red spectrum at 760 nanometers. Yeah. Send me that one if you're watching, just in case you're watching. I'll totally sponsor my channel. I'll totally use the shit out of your par meter. Alright, Ari, see you later. Thank you for the new stream. Keith Borderly asks, advice on getting rid of BBA, black-bearded algae. Again, first of all, find out why you're getting black-bearded algae. Fix that. Then, to get rid of black-bearded algae is very, very, very simple. Hydrogen peroxide. Look it up on YouTube. I don't have a video on it yet because I rarely get algae. But look it on YouTube. And just find out how they get rid of it with hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide works really well on black-bearded algae. It just eats that stuff up. So do that. That's how you would get rid of black-bearded algae. The other way is to black out your tank, but that's last case scenario. You just want shrimp in there? Okay, then if you're just making a shrimp only tank, then you have to look up the shrimp you want to keep. Find out the shrimp you want to keep, the shrimp that you like. Go to flipaquatics.com. He sells shrimps. He's great at shrimp selling and he has a lot of knowledge on shrimps. So he's the guy you go to talk about shrimp. And then you have to set up in a certain way, depending on the shrimp you want to get. Hey Chung, do you use RODIY on any aquariums? No, I don't. Not in planet tanks, no. I don't have RODIY set up yet. I am getting one though soon, but not for my planet tanks. For my reef tanks, I will be getting RODIY system. But I will not, and maybe my discus tank, but I will not be using RODIY on any of my other aquariums. Because they're mostly planet tanks. They're all usually planet tanks. They're either planet tanks or coral tanks, reef tanks. Okay? I will never go just fish tanks. That's boring. I will never go, I would never just go fish tanks. Like, a tank with just a fish in it. It's too boring. I watch Joey all the time, but, where he, but you can tell even, he dresses up his tanks. I'm a planet tank guy. I just don't see the lure of just keeping flower horn in the tank. It's cool. I like Frank is cute, but it goes beyond that. I just like the whole thing about planet tanks. So RLDI water is just useless in a planet tank. It has to be a specific reason, and that reason would be for my coral reef tanks when I get them set up, and possibly for my discus, for the health of my discus. But nowadays even discus don't really need RLDIY water, so King Brandon, hey Waterbox, I have 5 neon tetras in my community tank, and one of them have a white mucus cotton growing on my mouth. Ooh. Threaten the fish. Quarantine that fish. Take that fish out of there, put it in another tank. You gotta quarantine that fish and make sure your other fish don't get it. What it is, I don't know. I don't think it's ick. It could be. I'm not good at diseases, okay? Anyone in here help King Brandon out, please. Help him out. Cecil Hobbies, I think, said something the same thing. He has a tumor, I'm not sure. Yeah, cool. Alright, well, Cecil can help you there then. See, I'm just horrible at diseases. I really, in my whole fish life, I rarely ever treated fish. Because I make sure my fishes are fine before I buy them and stick in my tanks. Yeah, Java Fern is a low maintenance tank. Java Ferns are awesome. Alright, they're good at low light. They will grow. Slow, but grow. You should see what they do in a tank that's high tech. You got CO2, high light, and oh wow. It's huge. They go just bush. Oh yeah, for my 110 liter, 81, 36, 45 centimeters. Ugh. Thank you for giving me everything in centimeters. I think I'm getting some cardinals, a male beta, an angelfish or two, some amados, snails, red-tailed shark. Any thoughts, suggestions, especially on the shark? Yeah, don't. Your shark is going to be a little too aggressive for your angelfish. Now, you could do it. I mean, a lot of people don't listen to other people's advice and they just do it anyways, and it might work. Okay? Red-tailed sharks are a little more too aggressive for angelfish. Your angelfish might go after your cardinals. They might eat it. Cardinals are angelfish are cardinals' natural predators. They eat them in the wild, so they might go after your cardinals. But it's one of those things. Again, depends on your angelfish. A lot of people do keep cardinals with angels, and they have never had a problem with it. I've kept cardinals with angels. My angels never went after my cardinals, but they are their natural predators. So your beta, I don't know. It's a big tank, but your beta might try going after your cardinals. He might try going after something that he sees more colorful than he is. But most of the time, he will probably just hide out a lot. I don't think anything other than your red-tailed shark, everything else looks okay, and you could try it out. Your red-tailed shark, though, I'm a little hesitant on. Yeah, again, Sid says our angelfish aren't really compatible with have those fish, especially cardinals, but again, I will argue that. Okay, I will argue that to the sense of just try it. If your cardinals start disappearing, don't buy any more cardinals. Simple as that. Alright? It really depends on your angelfish. I've kept angels with cardinals, and I had no problem with it before. So it's one of those things that yes or no, it might or might not happen depending on your fish. Same thing with a lot of people saying their bettas don't harm their shrimp, but other people say the bettas eat their shrimp. So again, it's one of those things. The only thing I know for sure is that red tail shark might be too aggressive. The other thing might be your betta. Your betta depends on your betta. The bettas are very temperamental. They're very personable fish. So if you have an aggressive betta, he's going to be aggressive no matter what you're going to put in your tank. Okay? If you have a really peaceful betta, he'll leave everyone alone and just want to live his life. That's good too. So again, it's one of those things. You got temperamental fish in there. Your angelfish will get temperamental if they pair up, okay, and then they start breeding. Then you're going to have a problem with them getting aggressive against everything else in your tank, regardless of if they got along with them before that fact, okay? So again, it's a lot of things. The only thing I would have a problem with is your red-tailed shark. Yeah, red tails. I mean, see, it really depends. I don't know too much about red-tailed sharks other than they're really cool. They're really cool by in a tank where they're the ones that are the main the main show, right? But if you want to mix them with angels, see the problem with angels are very, very, very peaceful, where versus red-tailed sharks where they're really aggressive. So the problem with aggressiveness on some species against peaceful fish is that feeding time and all those things, when those things happen, you don't want them to get into tiffs. And red tails tend to just get very territorial when it comes to feeding. Yeah, feeding. And the reason why I understand red tails is because I had a couple red tails before. When I was back 13 years ago. I had to take them out because they were too aggressive with my other community fish. It was a community tank. But my friend wanted them anyway, so that worked too. $45, yeah, it is a bit low. I mean, if the angels are young, you'd be fine, but if they're going to grow and they're going to get big, depending on what kind of angels you get, 45 might be a little too small for them. You want high tanks for angels. I mean, do your angels a favor. Get them a nice place to grow correctly. A lot of times, I keep thinking you're talking about Colombians. A lot of times, Colombians don't have lesions from my research. Just seems like it would be a high tension stress tank. Shark versus angels, angel versus cardinals. Better for all, but it's pretty random. Yeah, it is random. That's the only thing I'm there. The only thing I just know for sure is the shark and angels. Angels and cardinals usually, I don't know. It's one of those things. I see people keeping cardinals with angels all the time, and they never have problems with them. It's one of those things, You have one guy saying, "Oh, in my tank, they're killing, my cardinals," and then you have another guy in another tank saying they're not killing, they're living peacefully. So you get the conflicting reports depending on people's, experiences. And again, they take those experience and try to make it Bible law. It's not. All right, it's your experience. It's because it happened to you. Unless you take 100 people and it happens to 90% of them, then yeah, sure. But unless you have a controlled, testing environment, how will you know? You're just judging on hearsay, which a lot of people do. It's fucking annoying. I'm sorry for cussing. It is fucking annoying. Just the whole thing about too much high light, get CO2. That's why you have out. It's the worst fucking advice you can ever give anyone. And it's one of those things I will kick you out of my group for. Why don't you post much anymore? Are you talking about videos? Yeah, I was taking a break for the last couple of weeks. I had a lot of stuff that I had to deal with for work. Sorry, we're getting reptiles. It's not hard for me getting reptiles. I have a friend that is like tons. He's a reptile lover. And he goes out and he actually used to raise and sell reptiles. So I could always like get into it with him, but I'm just not interested in reptiles right now. Though well, actually, I am kind of interested in a bearded dragon. Maybe some of the lizards that I see Jenny keep. Those are really cool. All right, Car. See you later. Thank you for joining me or joining us today. But yeah. So any other questions before we close this? Because it is 12:30. We're going for an hour and a half. And yeah, I gotta get me some lunch, guys. So we'll wait for another minute or two, see if we have any more questions. But other than that, it's been a fun chat. Hope I answered all your questions as much as possible. And it was fun talking to you guys. So hopefully I'll get my videos back up and running again. I finish up the lighting series so I can jump into the CO2 series. Let's see, King Brandon, I like your dirty plant video, very interesting. Just a question: can you get potting mix from your local plant shop and use it in your aquarium? Yeah, that's where I get my soil from. I go to my local hardware store, actually, my big box store, Home Depot, or Lowe's, and I just grab a bag of that stuff for like $10, and it literally substrate like 5 or 6 aquariums depending on how big the aquariums are. But it's a very good way to save a lot of money and grow a lot of plants. All right, see you later, Sahib. Thank you for joining us. What charcoal fish do you highly recommend for beginners? Tetras are always like the #1 fish I always suggest for beginners. Tetras are great. Very good intro. See, yeah, all tetras are really good. But there's tons of them. Me, I'm a tetra guy. I love using tetras mainly because they look great in planted tanks. I love rams, but rams are a little harder for beginners to keep. You need pristine waters for them. Favorite aquatic plants? Amazon swords. Very easy. That was easy. Alright, great, guys. Hey, guys, I love you all. Thank you for joining me this week. Hopefully the streams will, or the videos will keep coming again. I will jump on another live chat next Saturday. So I'm going to try to keep the Saturday live chats going. Keep them going. I had to miss it last week because I had a pack. And yeah, make sure you join us over at the Facebook group. If you want to talk more about aquariums, just discuss aquariums. Let me go ahead and give you the link there. And boom, boom, and boom. Bam. That is our Facebook group. Check us out there. And follow me on Instagram because I often post about stuff about aquariums and not aquariums on my Instagram account. So you can keep up and know what's going on. Love you guys. I will see you later, guys. And thank you for joining me today. Have fun with your tank, guys.